media manager at the March for Life, and I'm here with Ryan Newhouse, who is the Florida Regional Coordinator for Students for Life and also the founder of an amazing new men's fellowship program called Invictus. So it's nice to have you here, Ryan.
Thanks, Anne. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, like you're saying, I'm founding the Invictus Men's Fellowship. It's going to be a great program for empowering and creating strong men within the pro-life movement. So happy to be here with you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, Ryan, to kind of start things off, I'd really love to hear your background in the pro-life movement. You seem to have such an interesting life and involvement in the pro-life movement, and it's just always amazing to hear people's stories.
Thanks. Yeah. So I've always been pro-life. I'm the oldest of 11 kids in my family. So if that doesn't scream pro-life, I don't know what does, right? It was fun growing up in a home with parents who really understood the value of life and being taught that all lives are intrinsically valuable.
Mm-hmm.
As I grew up and I, sought out, my answers to questions that I was approached with, I was led spiritually to understand that God created life sacredly, that life is intrinsically valuable. And it also led to understand that life does begin at conception through science and through philosophy. We understand that the taking of innocent life is wrong, so bioethically, the practice of abortion is not good. I went on to college and I left to go on a mission to Bolivia. I lived in the country of Bolivia for 2 years, and I saw the effects of abortion on women there as they had abortions. And it truly moved my heart to become more involved. And when I came back to the States after that 2-year period, I said, what can I do? So I went to college and I studied Latin American studies because I thought, am I going to go help those people abroad and go do international work? Or what can I do, where I'm at? And it just ended up that as I found my wife and I met her in college and we got married, we decided we weren't going to go live in a foreign country, but we were going to do what we could where we were. And it led me to go to be a part of the Young Leaders Program at the Heritage Foundation. And there I, truly admired the work of Emily Gao, Monica Burke, and Ryan Anderson, and just kind of fell in love with what they talked about and what they do. And kind of gained a passion for getting more involved in family and child policy and going more on the policy side. So when I went back and finished my senior year at BYU, I worked for a think tank out there in Utah called the Sutherland Institute. And at the Sutherland Institute, I had the unique opportunity to play a role in helping 2 bills get passed in the 2019 legislative session. In Utah, there was the Down Syndrome Non-Discrimination Act and the 18-week abortion ban. And that for me was just such an awesome opportunity to really play a part and to see the effects that we can have as we put forth our talents and skills to making the world a better place. And as I graduated, my wife was pregnant at the time. And the night that she had the baby, I remember sitting in the hospital and Rayleigh was born. And I got a text and I opened it up and there was a job opening with Students for Life of America. I had applied to similar positions and things just weren't coming up, in the job search, and Students for Life came up and I was just, this is a sign, from God. I loved working on this kind of policy while I was at the Sutherland Institute, and now, I want to do this. So we picked up our bags, we moved to Florida, and we've been here. And as the Florida Regional Coordinator, I've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of students across multiple campuses, talk to thousands of people, and be able to interact with the legislative session here and what we're doing. We're seeing a huge growth in the pro-life movement here in Florida, and seeing a lot of the youth become more activated and more encouraged by the ability they have to play a role in the pro-life movement, using their unique skills and abilities. And I love being able to just be with them and to encourage them as they go through that. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I got involved and kind of my backstory.
That's amazing. And what has it been like transitioning from being kind of focused on the policy side of things into being more engaged with the younger generation and working with college students in particular in the pro-life movement?
Yeah, great question. I think that created, a really solid foundation for being able to talk to people. Something I find often when I talk to students is that they hear a lot of the rhetoric and the talking points, but they can't really explain them. They haven't developed the ability to critically think and then articulate their thoughts and ideas after understanding the policies that are causing certain things to happen, or the way procedures are performed, and things like that. So coming from a policy background where I was able to, do a deeper dive in the research and understanding, has given me the ability to better articulate not only pro-life apologetics, but the policies that we need to change in society today, especially here within Florida, to students, so that they can understand the unique role that they play. So coming from that background, I think, was just a huge benefit for me.
No, that's great. What do you think is one of your favorite experiences since starting with Students for Life and diving into working kind of hand in hand with the new movers and shakers of the pro-life movement?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding part is probably seeing the light bulb turn on for a lot of people when you talk to them on campus. A lot of people see those videos that are posted on Instagram where you see the angry people tearing down signs and things like that, but that doesn't happen very often. It definitely does happen, but it doesn't happen as much as you'd like to think. A lot of students are scared of talking to people about this issue because of that, but it doesn't happen as much as you think, because people actually do want to talk. They do want to find an answer to what's going on. And as you work with them and you ask them why they think what they think and why they believe that, and you open your ear and your heart to what they think, they then also open up their ear and heart to you. And that's when you can create a great conversation and engage in dialogue that truly moves people. And being able to see people say, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Or when they say, oh, I'm saying that, but I don't like the way that sounds now that I'm thinking about it. That is when you truly see people go from being adamantly pro-choice, not wanting to have a conversation with you, to a softened heart, understanding that there is an answer to this question, and that what they thought before wasn't, the full truth. There wasn't a lot of clarity in it. And just being able to do that and see other students, have the ability to do that as well with their peers is just an incredible experience, and it's so rewarding.
That's beautiful. Well, I guess speaking of opening up conversations with people, let's talk a little bit about your new fellowship program, Invictus, and how you came up with the idea for it, and what the overall kind of guideline or guiding purpose of Invictus is going to be.
Yeah. So in 2019, so this year, the Gallup did a poll and found that 62% of men between the ages of 18 to 29 are pro-choice. That's a huge amount of men in our demographic, right? I'm 25 years old, so I'm understanding now that 62% of the men around my age are pro-choice. That's a huge red flag for me, because I'm thinking, at this age, this is the period of time when they become fathers, they become husbands. Why do they think it's okay to allow abortions or not even have a role in the conversation? I speak a lot to students on campus, and men always come up to me and they say, I have nothing to say. It's not my thing. I'm a guy. I can't say anything about it. And I always thought, why do men feel like they can't talk about this issue? Why is that? And it's because of the rhetoric. It's been spun, for so long, saying that, men have no voice because they don't have a reproductive system that creates babies. And that's hard for guys, jumping into this position and going out and talking to people is intimidating. But the best protection for every child in the world is a committed mother and father. And that's what we need to get through to people, is that when we tell men that they have no say in the issue of abortion, what we're also telling them is that they have no say in the parenting of a child, because it is a child, right? And that rhetoric needs to change. We've seen a huge increase in the rate of fatherless homes in the country. I personally think that is in part due to the fact that men are being taken out of the conversation on the upbringing of their children. The role of a father is being diminished. So it's not just an attack on women. Abortion is also an attack on men. Why? Well, because men should be responsible for the children they create. And when we allow them to just simply walk away, we take away that responsibility, and we create this ability for them to just say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of that, and that's okay. And I don't think that's okay. And I don't think any child growing up thinks that's okay. I think every child deserves a mother and a father, and recognizes the need for a mom and a dad in the home. So I would strongly push against that as I talk to people on campus. And that was part of the reason why I came up with the idea for Men's Fellowship in joint with Students for Life, right? And I was thinking, we were talking about names and things like that, and Invictus arose. Invictus, in Latin, it means unconquerable, right?
Mhm.
Or undefeated. What a powerful name, right? There was
That's
actually
fantastic.
a poet, yeah, there was a poet named William Ernest Henley,
Mhm.
who wrote a poem called Invictus back in the late 1800s. And he wrote it when he was 17 years old in a hospital bed about, he had tuberculosis in the bone, right? So it was very painful. He had to amputate his leg when he was 17. And he wrote about this experience and how um, that dark time didn't actually define him, right?
Mhm.
He was more powerful than that. He was unconquerable. And I think today a lot of men feel helpless in the movement of, abortion in the
Mhm.
United States, in that conversation. They feel like they can't raise their voice. They'll just get destroyed by cancel culture today, you know. And I want to change that. I want to change that in the hearts of men. I want them to feel unconquerable, to be
Mhm.
undefeated, and to stand up and to lift where they stand, bring their talents and their skills. Being a part of the pro-life movement isn't just being an activist. It isn't just talking to people or going on sidewalk counseling. We need people in the tech field. We need people in the film industry. We need people in the business world, in the law world. We need people from all over to be pro-life and to stand up where they are and show what it means to be a pro-life leader. And that's what this program is designed to do. It's to create strong men who support and empower women to choose life. Right.
No, that's so true. And we really do need people being pro-life just in every facet of their own lives. It can just be in simple ways, but it helps build that culture of life. No.
Yeah.
So, what's going to be the specific structure of the Invictus program? I know you mentioned that you have some amazing mentors that you're bringing in. Can you share any information about that?
Yeah, so it's going to be an awesome program. We're going to fly in all of the fellows. There'll be between 12 to 15 fellows that we hand select from across the country. They'll meet up together in Jacksonville, Florida for a weekend kickoff in March. We'll bring in some guest speakers during that time, and we'll just kind of do a get to know you session and kind of evaluate what areas of their communities or their campuses or where they're at can they apply their skills and talents to make a difference in the pro-life movement, right?
Mhm.
And we'll leave there kind of deciding it's time to get to work, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to do it. And we'll do bi-weekly meetings online, kind of on a Skype or a Zoom session. And we'll read 3 books throughout the course of the year. It'll be a year-long fellowship. And we'll discuss these books. We'll discuss, things that are going on and affecting the way men are viewed in the pro-life movement. These can range from, issues of like self-identity to, masculinity to, the need to embrace fatherhood and the roles
Mhm.
and responsibilities of being a man. And we'll do that for a period of year, and it'll culminate in a project that each fellow customizes to their own, career interest or the career field that's tied up with a mentor, like you're saying. And it'll be something that we show to the world that these men are playing a part and lifting where they stand in the pro-life movement. You mentioned mentors. Who are they going to be? Well, that depends. That
Mhm.
depends on who the fellows are going to be, who jumps into the program, because this program will be totally customized to them. If one of the fellows wants to go into law, we're going to find a pro-life leader in law, and pair them up with them. We want someone from the film industry. Well, there's plenty of pro-life filmmakers. Unplanned was a
Mhm.
great movie. We'll pair someone up from the film industry with a guy who wants to go into film, right? Um, and we will help guide them to be where they want to be.
Mhm.
Why? Because our goal is to change the narrative. We want men to have the ability to stand and to be an example to the world. We want them to be that light upon a hill that everybody can look at, right? We want them to feel like we're helping them get there. So
Mhm.
it's totally gonna be customized and individualized to each fellow. So I can't tell you, off the top of my head who the mentors are going to be, because they're going to be customized to each fellow.
Oh, we just need something like this in the pro-life movement so badly. So I really commend you on one having the creativity to come up with a program like this, and also just the drive to really bring it into fruition. It's just
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
No. So If you can see the young men who are applying and participate in this program coming out with one goal or ambition after the year ends, what would that be?
To lift where they stand.
Mm-hmm.
I love that quote, lift where you stand. What I mean when I say that is utilize your talents and skills that you were given or you've developed to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand that the idea of being intrinsically valuable isn't just that you're sacred because you're a human being. It's that you have things that you can offer to the world simply because you are valuable as a person. And as these fellows go forward and interact with their communities and work and put forth their time and effort into making a difference, they'll realize that they have something unique to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to carry that for the rest of their lives, that what they have to offer can do something bigger. Because, I hear a lot of people tell me, what are you going to do? You're just talking to kids on campus. You're not going to make that big of a difference in the pro-life movement, right? If you can't
Mm-hmm.
do it all on your own. You're right. I probably can't do it all on my own. But if we all lift where we stand and we all work together, we're going to make a huge difference. So I want people to do that. I want people to lift where they stand, to understand that as we all try our part individually, we'll come together as a team and make it all happen.
Yeah, that's great advice. So for any young men who are interested in applying for the fellowship program, what information can you pass along to them?
Yeah, so I would tell them to go look at our website. It's studentsforlife.org/fellowships. So that's where they can find some of the information. It's the Invictus Men's Fellowship. They'll probably see some other Students for Life fellowships on there that they're welcome to look at as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of great programs, but I would tell them to go look there and to apply, send in an application.
And when's that deadline?
The deadline is January 31st, so a week after the March for Life.
Oh, fantastic. And last question here. So if you could give any piece of advice to the pro-life movement at large, especially because you work with so many amazing college students, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, unite, work together. I think for a long time there has been a lot of, turf wars, and that's normal. Everybody has, their part in the pro-life movement. But I think one thing that has inspired me as I've been here in Florida is that we all are working together to achieve one goal. We've been able to work with different organizations here, Students for Life, and just find out where we fit best and where we can work together to help people. And I would say that, unite, find the best in everyone around you and work together to make it happen. Only then can we make it happen. We've been fighting this fight for 47 years, right? And we're doing a lot of good. We're seeing a lot of progress. As we saw with like the CDC numbers that just recently came out, we're making way. But in order to overcome everything and to reach the top of the hill, we got to work together. And I think we're doing that now as a pro-life movement. But I would encourage us to do it even more.
Yeah, fantastic advice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, the March for Life, Ryan. I wish you the best of luck with the Invictus program. And I invite all the young men watching this video to both share it and to apply to the program. It really is just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and hopefully it will help just guide all of you in your pro-life convictions for the rest of your life.
Thanks, Anne. I really appreciate it.
And I look forward to seeing you at this year's March.
Yeah, I'll see you there. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.